Betty.
This is Nicole. Welcome to Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.
So how was your weekend?
It was wonderful. I've been working out and been working listings and taking buyers out, but it was great.
And the changes in the industry.
Yeah. They went into the weekend that it went into effect was the same weekend I had a listing. So you can definitely see there's been a little bit climate change, but I'm okay because I'm adaptive. So, and I prepared my client for it.
So we got all these new buyers that
Mm-hmm.
essentially now they have to sign a contract
Mm-hmm.
at the first meeting before you show them a house.
I like that though.
I don't know.
You know, honestly, you've been doing it for so long, but think about it. The amount, if you probably did like a ratio or like a statistic on the amount of times you had to waste your time with someone who really wasn't ready to buy, or they didn't want to sign, they didn't want to have a commitment. They just, it's a waste of your time. Okay, I'm gonna bring it into like life, like right with dating. If you're getting to know someone who just wants to have fun versus really intimately get to know you,
right?
I know for me, I never liked wasting my time. So I'm glad that
wasting my time.
I don't like wasting my time. So I'm glad there has to be a commitment that lets me know, like, are you really serious about the buying process? Because it can be daunting, it can be long, and I'm in it for the stretch. I'm in it. So I want someone who is
committed as well.
To the process of purchasing a home. And I want someone who, now you have to have like a contract for loyalty where all the work I'm putting into it, like you're signed to me, versus someone who may just hop to see
one house and then go to somebody else.
And it works best for them, but it doesn't work for all parties.
For everybody,
so I kind of
same. Like I mean, I agree with that too. I think I'm in the same position. I think last week, for me, it was a rather strange weekend for me.
Why?
From doing this like so long, just doing real estate and always prioritizing things. Like I have a calendar invite that gives me an affirmation in the morning when I wake up. So after I pray, it will tell me my next thought, so to speak, of what I want to accomplish or what I want to achieve for the day. And I know it's kind of weird. I don't change that every day. I basically let that stay on my calendar invite until I accomplish that goal. So the affirmation will pop up and then I'll look at it, and it's just like subconsciously planting that seed every single day until I execute what I want to execute. But by having it just like so systematical, for the first time ever in my 41 years on earth, I literally crashed. Like I was just completely mentally and physically drained.
Wow.
And I got to the point where I was just like, what's happening? Because I never felt that way before. And to kind of crystallize the feeling, I had the feeling of, it went to like a quick depression. It went to a quick, I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. And it went to a position of, I just want to be by myself for a minute, but then I don't want to be by myself for a minute. And I went to a position of, if I can use this term, I will use the term, my mind was in a state of mental paralysis. So unlike like most people, when you get in that position, I think you can get afraid, become fearful.
Especially for you you never experienced it. So you're like, what the fudge nuts?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And I tried to do the regular functionalities that we do as a family. And I didn't know how long it would last. I wanted to, spend time with my daughter and go to the events that she had, and spend time with my son and the whole family in general. And I was there mentally. I tried to be. I mean, physically I was there, but mentally I was trying to be there. But I just think with the combination of the changes in the industry, the structure that I usually have for myself, as far as like wanting to accomplish so many things
in
a short period of time, such as like, oh, I need to work out today.
Mm-hmm.
I need to read.
Mm-hmm.
I need to study this. I need to manage this deal. I need to manage another deal. I got to make sure my grandma's all right. Like all of these things. I got to make sure mom. All of that just combined. I just got to the point where like literally after I had the family time, I just like sit on the couch and I didn't want to do anything. And I think the learning point for me there was that like my daughter was like actively playing with me. And at that point I realized like, oh, like she was the solution to get me out of that mode. So essentially I had to put my cell phone down, which I did. It was like I forgot I even like had a phone. And I just literally had grown up playtime with a 4-year-old.
Isn't it? Like, I'm telling you, like the way sometimes seeing life through the lens of their little innocent eyes and they're full of wonder eyes.
Yeah.
It can literally make you just take a break because you realize in this moment you're not going to get back, right?
Right.
And if you think about it, for the most part, we only are promised like 18 summers with our children.
Wow.
Think about it like that way, right?
How in the I'm gonna use your word in the fudge did you find?
Yeah, I was gonna say fudge nuts, right? But it's like so
18 summers.
I
wouldn't even have thought of it like that.
It goes by so quickly, right?
Unless you got that kid that don't want to move out.
I get it, yeah. I mean, I still with my mom myself.
And then you're gonna go through empty nesters.
Yeah.
They was talking about that on the news, but that's another day.
I know that's the reminder. Like I'm still young. I don't even want to think about that.
You structure your whole life, and then now all the kids leave.
Yeah, but that's why I don't think it's a very you got to be very careful when you're talking about like relationships, not to structure 100% that, because once that leaves, you're either going to be left with what the fudge nuts are we doing?
You gotta copyright that word.
Right, fudge nuts. Or like, okay, they were an addition to us.
Right.
Not because. But going back to what you were talking about,
that's
how
deep.
your body.
That's deep.
Right.
You dropped the mic.
Did I?
If we didn't have cordless mics, I would.
You would just drop it, just throw it down for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you think of like your phone,
right?
Like, everyone has a phone, right? And there's a software update that has to get put on your phone. And what normally happens, like it has to reboot, but it starts going slow as it's downloading all the information, and then it shuts off.
Right.
And it reboots, and it's updated with better systems. For the first time in your life, it was like you started slowing down, and you needed to shut down and reboot. Because now you look bright. Yeah, like you look good.
I'm on my Kanye West.
Well, it doesn't go by yay or ye, whatever. But yeah, so it's like you look good. You look vibrant. And I think oftentimes it's not even so much that you were probably overwhelmed.
Right.
Probably because of the things that you spoke before about like your mental and being aware.
Yeah.
But you probably were feeling the weight of everything you were carrying. So it gets heavy. And I know that I experienced that a lot of times where it's like, I'm not overwhelmed, but by golly, this weight is heavy. So you just literally needed to reboot so you can have uploaded better systems. And yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that like the people around you that know you best, they can know when something is off with you. And it was a lot of learning lessons for me in that, because, you know, they were able to tell me, they was like, what's wrong? I'm like, nothing's wrong. I'm all right. Because at first I just wasn't identifying that like something was wrong. I felt it, but I didn't feel like I could, I was projecting it. You know what I mean?
You thought you were hiding it.
Yeah, and I wasn't even trying to hide it. I was confused. I'm like, yo, I've been doing this forever. Like, what the fudge is going on?
Remember we talked about wearing masks?
Yes.
And sometimes we wear masks, and you probably didn't realize, like, you are, from being around you, I've learned that you are a push beyond how you feel.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's like you're going to keep pushing because it's like you make it very clear, like, you'll pretty much get rest when you die.
Yeah.
Because, God don't take no breaks, so why should I?
That's right.
Is that your quote?
Yep, you got it.
So for you're probably so used to, it doesn't matter how I feel, I'm just going to keep pushing.
Right.
But everyone realized, like, your push don't look as, like so much
As it was usually is, yeah.
But and I think that you learned in that moment, you gave yourself grace when you finally gave in to how you were feeling and submerged yourself with the intimate time with your daughter. You probably realized, like, hold up, this is the grace of, and it's okay.
Yeah,
like,
yep.
I don't have to answer my phone.
Right.
I don't have to, like, everything, because of the systems I have set up, everything's going to function.
Yep.
That's but it's happened. Okay that I'm not there to make everything move.
That's what happened. You said it.
I'm trying to learn through you right now because I think I just preached to myself.
Yeah, well, you said something right there. Well, what I did was, like, as these things occur, I try to, not try, because try is a filler word of not doing.
I just heard that quote. Someone just said, it was Kanye West. Oh. He said his mom told him, try is failure. Yeah, well, he said, I do, and I might fail.
Right.
But he said, when you keep saying try, like, it almost goes with what you said.
Like that Jay-Z quote.
I don't know.
The try and the fail is the two things I hate. That's what Jay-Z said.
Okay.
So I looked up the definition of just feeling drained. So it's a couple things here. There was a couple quotes that I don't want to use the word found because I feel like the universe gives you what you need. And they say that when you're, whatever you're looking for shall find you. And that's the way I'll position it.
Okay.
So anyway, the definition of drained is deprived of strength and vitality. I didn't know what the hell vitality was. So I had to.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I felt the same way in that moment, but I was just going to shake my head and go, and in hopes I was going to get some context behind it. Because I heard the word before, but so go ahead.
No, that's how I was. So, I mean, like the whole time, you know, us as a team was preparing, and I was like, I need to figure out what this word is.
Please,
you know, so
help us out.
Vitality is the state of being strong and active. So all of that falls into drained. So essentially, if you're not strong and active, you're drained. By the definition, you're deprived of strength. So at that moment, that's where I was. There was a quote that I found, or that found me, and it said, and I liked it. It said, I finally found my rhythm when I realized that even the steps backwards were part of the dance.
Ooh. Where did you discover that one?
It found me somehow.
Wow.
So in this whole state of mental paralysis on my Saturday, this quote was like, it resonated to me because I realized, just like you just said, like all these systems after 19 going on 20 years of just running a business and just running, I'm realizing that at the age I'm at now, I have to let the machine work. And I don't have to consistently work the machine, but I also have to realize that part of that machine is my body. So even though I'm consistently working out, you know, trying to eat right and doing all the things I can to preserve myself, the ultimate core thing that I must preserve is my mind, because it's the thing that makes all the other things function. So I was told that the best strategy and the solution for me for this going forward is that throughout the week I just need to just take like mental like breaks. Consistently. As I grow. And of course, after that day went by, I was in the position where it's like, oh, I feel good now. You know what I mean? I'm like back to
rejuvenated.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I got to start this over. I don't know what this is going to look like tomorrow, like restarting all this. And I had to go, of course, go back to work. And I was fine, you know, doing that, getting back to the swing of things. So then I said, okay, I'm going to get back into my workout regime, which I did yesterday.
How did it go?
Well, it went good. I was rejuvenated and refreshed, but then my knees was just starting to hurt. And I was just like, it's like even today. And I'm like, okay, so I had a clean, good workout.
Yeah.
So it's like the universe is like telling me, which is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're growing. You're getting older. You have to make tweaks. I can't consistently work out the way I used to work out. Like I was watching my son. He's obsessed with flipping now. Like I used to be. I flip really good. And I was like, mentally, I was like, yo, I could do that. But
did you go try it?
No, I can't do it no more.
That's how I feel like when I'm watching my children flip, and I'm like, because they always try to like play me, and like especially with cartwheels, and I'm like, I can do that, or a split, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that too. Which I can do those. Well, my cartwheel ain't cartwheeling, but I can. It does something. I can still do the split, but I don't think I don't want to say it's a scary thought, but it's almost like when you sit back and you're like, when did this happen? When did it happen,
right?
Like because I'm on the same journey. Like you called me yesterday and I was working out and I was like, I gotta go, I can't breathe.
I can't breathe.
And literally I was struggling, but I started the journey of working out, and it's like when you first start anything new, right? And you're building something that hasn't been used in such a long time. It's like you are tearing it down and it has to heal,
right?
And it builds up. I something like that is how the muscles.
No, that's
work,
how
right?
the muscles work. Yeah.
So that's how we have to be with taking care of our mental. And there's probably oftentimes that we can find ourselves sleeping but not resting. Yes. And it's because we aren't allowing ourselves that mental break. I'm glad you're sharing this experience because it's going to remind me to say like, all right, Nicole, you gotta do that. Because I just want to keep going because I'm like, I'm going to give it my all. God, I'm going to give it my all. Like you said, live full, die empty.
That's right.
So I wake up and it's like, all right, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give my children my all. I'm going to give this my all. I'm going to give this my all. But listen, baby girl be tired.
Yes, you get tired.
And then, but sometimes when I get tired, I get defeated. Like, but no, don't get tired, Nicole. You keep going. And it's like, stop being a weirdo. You're tired. You're human. And guess what? It's okay. You can just change the way you interact with people and like maybe sit with your children and play a puzzle, do a puzzle.
A puzzle. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm still growing through this. I don't even know if it's like a proud thing because I wasn't proud that, this happened.
I'm proud of you because you don't take breaks.
No, but what I can say is I'm happy that I was able to identify, what was going on so that it didn't spiral into something else, which I don't know what something else would have been. I mean, I could have got depressed, but usually when things happen, I try to jump on it, immediately. And then I think like when stuff happens to you, again, like the universe starts sending you like different messages. So Sunday, Jessica and I were looking at the Netflix because we haven't been watching TV. I just been, as you know, like reading. She's studying exams, different things. Nevertheless, then I come across like this movie called Sprinter that talks about the Olympics.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, okay, it's a good movie. But then I went to the Simone Biles story, and then I started, watching the preview, and then without me knowing, like I'm into the movie now. I'm like, all right. Which have you seen it? You should watch it on Netflix. It's not so much a movie. It's like a series that talks about her experience when she dropped out of the Olympics in Tokyo.
Okay, I think I heard about it because I started watching the other Olympic thing they have on Netflix with all of the people. Like, they had Noah Lyles. That's how I even knew who he was before it all happened. But
Noah Lyles, the fastest man in the world. Well, in his position.
Yes.
But in Simone's case, like I was thinking on a higher level because I was just like, okay, she had a chance to not only just make history at that time frame, but she would have won more medals. She would have got more press, more financials, and all these things. And she said like one key thing in the video. She said when she was approaching to do her flip, she got scared. And she knew something was off mentally. And she was saying in gymnastics, if your mind doesn't resonate with your body, you can get seriously hurt, you can get paralyzed, or you can even die.
Okay.
And that was the day after everything happened to me.
Oh.
That this came on the TV, you know, on
It was
Netflix.
like your sign of like.
Yeah. It's
like if your mental ain't right, it affects the rest of you and everyone around you.
And everybody around you. And it got to the point where somebody at the apex in their career that could have got all this honor, glory, and all these things, she said, I'm done. I don't care about any of that. Like, I come first. And I took that from that. And I'm like, wow. So she called her mom, and her mom was on the phone, and her mom said, baby, come home. So she had that support network. Nobody that pushed her and said, oh,
no, keep going.
Keep going and all that. She immediately said, come home. And she went home, and then she started, you know, getting the counseling and different things that she needed to.
They probably knew, coming from a person like her, like by the time she's saying, like with everything she loves, right? And by the time she's saying, I need a break, it's like no questions asked. Girl, take that.
Right.
Take your break. Take your beat.
Yep.
And it's okay. And I think even for you, like, we have to realize, like, we're not promised, the next moments aren't promised for us.
Right.
So with the time that we do have, we have to make sure that we are, like you said, taking care of ourselves, doing our assessments of, okay, am I okay today?
Right.
Am I feel like you literally were able to imagine if you ignored how you felt.
Yeah.
and then it's like it turned into the next day.
Right.
And the next day. And then all of a sudden it's like you almost explode because you just completely, you weren't aware and you just ignored it.
Right.
You have to pay, like, we're our first line of defense. Pay attention to that, because it affects your tomorrow. It can affect your decisions.
Right.
It can affect it all. So,
and for each person is different. Like in her case, she got to the position where she was like, I don't even know if I want to go back to flipping gymnastics. And the reason that she did go back into it was that she just started going to the gym where she was working out, and all the other girls looked up to her, and they would always be like, you gonna come back tomorrow? She was like, I don't know. And then they was like, you gotta come back so we can. So she was just coming back having fun, and eventually she ended up, you know, getting back into it. But think about it, it took 4 years for her to go back to the Olympics, which is now. And when she went back this time, she wasn't going back to compete. She was just going back to have fun.
Exactly. That's a reset. So maybe you lost. It's almost like those things where people who you hear a lot in the music industry where it's like they started because it's an art. Right. And it became such a business where it sucked the life out of it. And it's like, this ain't fun no more. Right. And it's like, they have to almost reset to fall back in love with that. Or you even find that in relationships where it's like, oh my God, like we met and we were this and we were on fire, we were this. And then it's like, when did we lose it? Because it ain't hitting. Right. And then it's like you have to now go out your way to, if you want to choose to say, you know what, like let's find what made us, like where's that fun at again?
Start back at the original foundation.
Because honestly, like what I respect about her journey from what I'm hearing you express is she didn't put a timeline on it. It was like, whatever it took, I'm going to take whatever time it is to heal and make sure I'm the best me. Because what's the point of doing all of this if I don't show up as my best? Right. Yeah.
And I also extracted from that like she had a good support network. Of course, the people that were in the gym, you know, they were her friends. And sometimes they even said sometimes I think she forgets like who she is. But then her response to them is like, I don't think you guys understand how important you are to me.
Yeah.
And what I gathered from it was that, because she said one core thing, she said when she experienced that, she was, you know, kind of confused and figuring out what she needed to do. So the only thing she could immediately think of was, all right, let me go get a counselor and find out what's going on. And when she did that, her husband came to her and he told her this statement. He said, whatever you go through, you have to grow through. And he would consistently keep saying that to her. And then she kept continuing to go to counseling. But then he saw the benefits of the counseling because he's a professional football player. And he was like, yo, I need to do that. So then now he goes just as much as her, if not even more.
Really?
And it helped build their mental health together.
Got you.
I want to know your thoughts about this.
Uh-oh.
It's I'm gonna just say it's kind of long, but it's not kind of long.
No, you're fine.
and I don't even know how it came to me. Again, of course, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I don't look for things that comes to me, but this says some solid advice from an old man. I want to know what your thoughts are on all these things.
Last time we had a podcast with my thoughts.
So, okay, now there's 23 here.
Okay.
The first one says, live beneath your means. Return everything that you borrow. Stop blaming other people. Admit it when you make a mistake. Give old clothes to charity. Do something nice and try not to get caught. That one hit me big time right now, the way things are. Listen more and talk less.
Ooh.
Every day, take a 30-minute walk. Strive for excellence, not perfection. Be on time and don't make excuses. Don't argue and get organized. Be kind to unkind people. Let someone cut you off in line or in traffic. Take time to be alone. Cultivate good manners. Be humble. Realize and accept that life isn't fair. Know when to keep your mouth shut. Go an entire day without criticizing anyone. Learn from the past. Plan for the future. But live in the present. Don't sweat the small stuff. And lastly, know that everything is small stuff. What's your thoughts?
Very wise person who said that. I was actually doing it more so as a checklist in my mind. There's maybe like 2 or 3 I could work on. Go a whole day without criticizing. Strive for excellence, not perfection.
Yes.
Yeah. And the other ones I feel like I pretty much apply. The 30-minute walk a day. I like that one.
I'm gonna cut you off.
Oh God.
On the road. Let's see if you'll get upset about it.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just playing.
I don't care. You know why? I drive so slow, it's not cutting me off. Like, you should see me driving. Now, for you, I've been in the car with you.
Oh God.
You might feel a type way.
Yeah.
Not me. I don't drive that fast anyway. So I don't have road rage. I don't. Yeah. But he made a valid point when he even said, do something nice and try not to get caught doing it or something like that.
Yeah, that I really.
If the world did a little more of that,
yeah,
we would be. I think it would make such a difference. You would see people who most times feel unseen.
Right.
Like, most times someone doesn't want to do anything for people who feel like they're already feeling unseen. You think about homeless people and things like that. And I feel like we're in a climate of time that we want to do things that almost get us the attention. So we'll do things for people who kind of already are seen.
Right.
Because it looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Versus like the things that the best acts that I do are the ones that, like, I don't like putting my name on stuff.
Right.
I don't want the glory, because then I'm like, if I get all the earthly rewards here, then God, there's a scripture that says, then he's not going to give it to me. I want his rewards.
Now you preach it again.
Yeah, so
that's my thought on it. I mean,
I'm an evangelist today.
on that particular one, that one really kind of struck a chord to me, specifically based on everything you just said. Like, in this day and age where you got to do something for somebody,
yeah,
and everything's got to be like recorded,
yeah.
But the era that I grew up in, like, what's recorded in my heart based on what I did, and God knows about it, that there is like invaluable to me. So, like, that one really struck a chord to me, because even before I read this, like, I consistently like do that, and there's things that I consistently do based on what I see happening around me, that it doesn't need to be recorded. And a lot of times my conversation with God is like, no, it stays here with me. Like, you did that because you were instructed to do it.
Yes.
And that's it.
Exactly. You don't need to share it with everybody. But there was hold on. Can I see the list real quick, please?
Yeah.
Because there was something else. The take time to be alone. That one actually is, to me, it parallels with the taking your mental break.
Yes.
And alone time to me is an intimate time with who you're ever like. Who for me, it's God, like your spiritual guidance, and it's like it should be the time where you're your most sober minded,
right?
And I'm not talking about sober like not from like alcohol or wine. I'm talking about like where you're mentally detox from all the pollutions and you're having your most transparent moments with yourself, and because that gives you the reset to assess what could you have done better.
Yep.
And deep. Learn from the past, plan for the future, live in the present.
Yes.
I think we stopped the phase of learning from the past because we are stuck in regret from the past.
Yeah, and we got to move out of it. I think there was a couple of things. As you know, we go to the library. Like the baby loves the library, which I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
But what she likes to do there, and I respect this fact that, you know, like in our culture, some things change. But the one thing that doesn't change at the library is you can't be on your cell phone. Like you can't answer the phone in there. They got everything that says shh, be quiet, and be respectful of others. And it's like, it's still the norm.
Yeah.
So when you get in there, there's so many different adventures. Because I literally just like kind of turn into a kid when I go to the library. And I'm like, you know, you pay money to go to Disney World or to go to water parks and all these different places. But then when you go in there, it's like, you can't do anything but think.
Exactly.
And they have like puzzles like you were just talking about, and all the stuff you could really do at home, but it's just a whole different.
Now you sold me on the library. I think we had to talk about it.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh my God, it's so cool. But we had a conversation and I don't know if you remember it. And it's going to what you're about to say when you're talking about the library. You said we pay for all these things.
Right.
Right. And you and I had the conversation of for some reason, people don't value.
Yep, we talked about
it. Yes.
You got to finish saying it though.
Yeah, people don't value the things that are free in a sense, which is, you were talking about like if we only are working off of 5% of our minds. And
Harvard did that study.
Yeah, so it's like if you go to the library, it's like a wealth of knowledge. Honestly, it's a wealth of knowledge of every type of topic, religion, animals, just the past, what people think the present's going to be like, shapes. It's just a plethora of just knowledge.
They got seashells there you can listen to.
Like
it's all in there.
I went to the Bear Library. I was like, oh, this is super cool. This is not like how it was. Like when they have more.
They got computers now.
And it's free.
Yes.
And it's free. But you can go to the library and it's so empty.
I know.
Because people don't see the value. But you can go to Barnes & Noble.
It's packed.
You can go, like you said, people will pay to hear someone who has no type of credentials speak. And they'll pay all this money because they're advertising it for $500. So they're like, oh, we know we're gonna get our blessing. We're gonna become rich after this convention. And it's like, wow, like why do you think that is? As a people, we only find value in something that's monetized, or that's value in the things that somebody else put value in. But
I think I like you taught me before. Like I think when you define value, you have to define it yourself. You know what I mean? Like you have to personally define value for yourself. What I get from the library in general and the atmosphere is like I watch you know how my daughter goes, and then whatever she does, like I'm doing too. Like I'm not by myself.
Exactly.
So like when she's coloring, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sitting there
making sure you color between those lines,
thoughtless, and I'm coloring, thoughtless. And Jessica's coloring. Everybody, we're like doing what she's doing. And then when you're putting the puzzle together, it's like as a unit, kind of like the podcast. I listened to our old podcast where you talked about getting lost in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
and Jay stepping forward as a leader. I listened to that this weekend. But as a unison, we're all doing the same thing, and we're trying to find the pieces of the puzzles and to put it together. And after we're done, she's like, "Oh, I want to do another one." I'm like, "Oh my God, okay." So then we're doing another one, and then they have trains. So I was teaching her this weekend about the magnets, because in order for all the trains to move around the wooden blocks, all of the magnets have to line up the right way because of the natural, positive and the negative side. The negative pushes the positive without the train touching it, and it allows it to move around. And then we're doing real estate in there because they had like life. So we started playing the game life.
Yes.
Then they had the old school building blocks. So I was like showing her how to start with
like engineering and
how to start with a solid foundation and then build it all the way up to the top, and who can get the highest. And then
you just said something there. With these games that you think you're teaching your child, and
right?
You said thoughtless, right? You're doing it thoughtless.
Yep.
They're actually not. The puzzle. You were teaching that every problem has a solution.
Yep.
That just keep twisting around pieces, keep trying things, and you'll find the right fit. Then you just said with the building blocks, you're teaching her you can go as high as you want if you have a solid foundation.
Go ahead and preach.
You just preached that.
Evangelist.
Today I am. But no, honestly, they're going to be like lessons that are going to be pillars and anchors to our children growing up. Because in order to be adaptive in this world, you better have a solid foundation. Because on a solid foundation, that means a wind can blow on the top. You might have to reconstruct. But that foundation is solid. And then I want my children to always look at life as a puzzle, right? Where it's like, I'm going to try this piece and it may not work and I may twist it and I may be the wrong piece, but I'm going to keep trying because there is a piece that will fit in there. Like where there's a problem, there's like a solution to it. And you have to teach these, and Liliana is 3, right?
Oh, 4.
4, I'm sorry. So you're teaching her these core lessons that are going to build her character. And she's not even going to, it's going to be like within her. And she's not even going to realize like, this is how I'm going to look at life, because it was just these small things. And guess what? You got it at the freaking library. Look at that. Look at that. So much value. There's a lot of value in there. And I want to go to the library more often. I just think it's a cesspool of germs. But
I mean, I agree with that.
I did take disinfectant wipes last time I went and wiped off every book before my children touched it. But that's not the point. The point.
I had to think about that.
It is. I was like, but once
they got a lot of sanitizer though.
I had my own, literally. Like my children are gonna be like the I don't want to say the geeks, but
I mean, I was looking on the board. They had things for elderly people. So like they had a flat screen TV, and they were like, these are the events for this week. And it was like I'm gonna just use the word 55 and older to teach them the smartphone apps. All of this is like free, and I'm not saying it from the aspect of like just being like a library lover, but I'm saying it from the aspect of like, these are resources that we can get. Like I literally walked down the aisle, and it's just like what you were saying. As they were coloring, I was like, let me get up and go down here and look. And then I was looking at books that I didn't see that I haven't seen since I was a kid, like the Babysitter's Club. And I was like, I picked this up. I was like,
nostalgic, like,
I remember this book. And then I opened up one about the dinosaur, and I was like, I was learning a little bit about that. And then I'm like, so then my thought is, I'm like, wow, somebody took the time to write these. Look how many people I'm actually looking at. So when I saw the book, I saw these as people.
All their minds
plugged in. It was just, and everything you needed, it was there. Like it was a book about football, like the captain. It's like everything you needed, it was there, but a person wrote it. So when I'm reading that, I'm actually connecting with the person's thoughts at that time frame.
Reading is universal. It is. And we had another conversation yesterday, right? And you're going to the library where it's full of knowledge.
Right.
And you know the quote of knowledge is power. But I said, no, let's add on to it. It's the use of knowledge. So imagine if everybody was to just tap in, right, into all this knowledge that we're given that has so much value that oftentimes is overlooked because you have to, in a way, you have to go seek it too.
Right.
You when you're walking in the library, I mean, you could just walk through and just see like, oh, I just pick up this.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you have to have a plan in what you're looking for. Like you have to have an idea like, okay, I'm going to learn about finances. So let me go to that section. I have to go seek this. And not only seek it, I have to implement this now.
Yes.
This new information I got. And it's like, I just want to make sure that in life, I am not overlooking people, overlooking circumstances, situations that may happen. I want to make sure that I'm like dissecting and really submerging myself into everything, because I want to make sure I'm getting whatever value I was supposed to, even if it's a mistake of mine.
Right.
I want to make sure when I'm dissecting, like, okay, what was the value? Like,
and the lesson,
I don't like my lessons for naught. Like,
yeah, right.
Make it worthwhile. Like, never mind.
Oh Lord.
Make it worthwhile. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Grind.
Let's talk about it.